Hey, and welcome back to another episode of the Girl Boss Method podcast, hosted by myself, Ritu. Just for clarity, today is the beginning of August, and we're about halfway through the Paris 2024 Olympics. And already the game is changing. For the first time in history, this Olympics and Paralympics will see an equal number of men and women competing. But I've been really excited and engaged with some of the events that we've seen already. I've been watching a lot of the athletics, having seen or come across some of the BMX riding and the diving and stuff. So there's been lots and lots of events to try and keep up with, really. But I will say that my main my favorite sports definitely has been the gymnastics so far, so I will touch on that anyway a little bit. But I thought it would be a really good opportunity to talk about the Olympics and also talk about what it means to these individuals and these athletes and what sort of things they have to overcome. And I thought there's definitely something that we can learn from this as well as women. And you'll find that there are the Olympics isn't just full of young women in their like late teens or 20s. There are many women in, various different decades across. So I just thought that, yeah, I'm going to share a little bit of what we've seen so far, and then also really dive in terms of how to build the mindset of an Olympian. So firstly, yes, we can take the main thing is that we can take inspiration from these great female athletes. Many of them have had to overcome adversity. They've had to really dive in and hone in on that mental and physical resilience. These women are an inspiration for women of all ages. And we're also going to be talking about some of the challenges that are faced by ethnic minority athletes. I think that's really important to talk about, because if we think about the history of the Olympics, definitely women and women of color as well, or different backgrounds, there have definitely been some challenges in different sports, basically, for sure. Again, just thinking about what some of these sports might traditionally attract as well, and therefore we're now seeing the scope of things change for Black and brown women, and also women that are of white ethnicity but minority ethnics as well at that. Okay, so the characteristics of the Olympian mindset. So ideally, we are drawing in on the fact that they are dedicated and disciplined. They are consistent with their training. They've got very strict routines. And it's not to say that we have to do this, but it's just kind of drawing in on that inspiration from what they do. They've shown resilience by overcoming adversity. So bouncing back from many setbacks, whether that's, things that have come up in the media, injuries, other controversial situations that they've encountered as well. And also just drawing on that mental toughness and that focus. And I feel like a big part of our fitness journeys, ladies, are literally a massive part of that is not just the physical. There's definitely an essence of mental toughness and focus. So you really do need to try and stay committed despite your challenges as well, as these amazing athletes have. And so naturally, I'm going to draw on some of the gymnasts that we've seen, and again, these champions as well. So I'm just going to bring out just a few of these ladies just to highlight what they've done. So obviously we've seen the world-renowned Simone Biles. She's advocated for mental health, and she actually withdrew from the last Olympics to prioritize her well-being. So again, although we're talking about having, just going hard for something, I think there's also definitely a lot to be said about prioritizing your well-being as well, your mental well-being. And then we've also got Sunny Lee, and now she's now been named as the most celebrated or decorated Asian American, Sunny Lee has overcome personal challenges, including 2 bouts of kidney disease, in order to succeed. And this has happened, in the between now and the last Olympics as well. So for her, that's been really difficult, overcoming that situation and actually just pushing through and giving it her all to, not only continue in her sport, but make it to the Olympic team as well for her country. And then, of course, we've seen lots of stuff with the Brazilian gymnasts, especially Rebecca Andrade. Hopefully I pronounced that right, but she has had an amazing showcase this Olympics in the artistic gymnastics. So her history is, obviously, she's overcome 3 ACL injuries, that's knee injuries, again, demonstrating that remarkable resilience and determination. And her journey really does highlight the importance of perseverance and mental strength, because coming back from injury is always so difficult, especially when you are pushing boundaries and you're pushing your body to the absolute max. Rebecca also, I find her massively inspiring, because from what I understand, just due to her background and everything, she was so committed to her sport. Growing up, she was walking 2 hours to make it to her training in gymnastics. So it just shows that these women, they really are, some of them really are the underdogs. They haven't had this amazing platform from the beginning. They've really had to push through to get where they have got to. And then we've got this wonderful woman called Flo Millia, and this woman is more known for the track and field, and that's actually where she does her thing. She's actually a grandmother. She only started her athletic career at 60. So oftentimes, it can be very difficult. But when I've spoken to women, and, it's not to say that everyone thinks like this, but, sometimes you get to like your late 30s, or you're approaching 40 or even 50, and you're like, oh my God, I'm way too old to be getting into fitness. Excuse me. I'm way too old to be getting into fitness. I just need to do things that are like kind to my joints. And, and this is women that have had no history of injury or anything. And this is just purely women that may not have engaged in activity or sport before, and they've just relied on just being fit, healthy, and well as they are. And they come to this age, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm 40 or I'm almost 50, and I can't lift weights, or I shouldn't do those sorts of exercises because that's not going to be good for me, and I can't do this, and various different barriers. And I just want to highlight that this woman, she started at 60. That's incredible. She holds multiple world records in pole vaulting and other events. So pole vaulting. So if you know about pole vaulting, then it's really, I'm just going to explain it anyway, but it's a massive, tall tower, and it's got a stick across the middle. So a bit like a high jump, right? But rather than high jumping and jumping off your feet, you actually run with a pole. You drive the pole into the ground, and then you like lift yourself up and over this bar. So it just absolutely like incredible. And it just shows that age, really has no barrier to achieving greatness. Like, yes, we know we might not be as fit and young and agile and everything as we were when we were younger, and we have to be realistic about things. That we do get tissue changes, and we various other things happen to us as we get older, bone strength and all sorts of things. But being engaged in physical activity is only going to help you push through. So I just really want to highlight the age thing. And then I've brought in a legend here, basically, a favorite of mine. And unfortunately, she didn't make it to this Olympics. She didn't qualify. But the fact that she even went for it is just incredible. So I wanted to highlight the fact that she's just had resilience in staying within the sport of gymnastics. So Oksana Chusovitina, has competed in 8 Olympic Games between the years 1992 and 2021. So she's represents longevity and dedication within gymnastics itself. She's overcome very many personal and professional challenges, including injuries and balancing family life as well. And from what I haven't put up here really is from what I do know is that Oksana actually has competed under various different banners or countries and flags, just because of where she's from herself. She's represented, or competed under different countries. And again, I think that is due to the fact that she has come from countries that have been, in war and stuff like that going on. I feel like I need to like find out here exactly where she came from. So she's actually from Uzbekistan, and so she's actually represented or come under the banner of like Russia, for example, as well, and I think various other different countries. You can have a look into her if you're intrigued or interested. Right. And then I thought it would be really interesting. This may be a little bit more relatable for us, in a sense that there has been some crazy unfairness within this Olympics, and just some of the controversy as well that's happened, especially surrounding high testosterone in female athletes. Now, I'm going to sort of just put it out there. Previously, we had Caster Semenya. So she was actually banned from competing because she wouldn't do the hormonal treatment to suppress her natural higher testosterone levels. Again, she was questioned about whether or not she was female. And I just feel like that's really sad, because many of these women, well, all of these women that I'm telling you about are actually biological females from birth, but they do have issues with the hormones and stuff. Okay, so again, natural testosterone levels. Now, again, Olympics has its own committee in terms of what their rules are, and then depending on different sports, they also have their own specific rules. So where some athletes may have been banned within the federations for the sports that they compete in, they were actually allowed to compete in the Olympics. And then, of course, what happens with social media these days, we get all these, these opinions on the controversy, and sometimes maybe even like fabricated situations as well. So there is a lady in question, Imaine Khalif. So she has been facing some similar issues again, because of her. People are saying that she's naturally like a man, or she transitioned, etc. And there's been rumors about her competing as a woman, but now people have come and brought out that actually it's just the perhaps maybe the levels of testosterone. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but there've been pictures showing her as a child and as a girl as well, so she's clearly a female, but she's just really had to face some horrible stuff in the media and stuff. And again, is it people making up lies and stuff? It's really sad. But she's from Algeria, and from what I understand, Algeria wouldn't support her transitioning or even having a different sexual preference and competing for their flag or for their country. So that's what I understand there. And that's really sad, because she's gone out there, and I believe that she will now be speaking out against this bullying and stuff. And I can't think what she's been going through, and I really hope she's just been switched off from social media. And then coming back again to, I don't know if you've heard of this lady, she wasn't here this time, but again, just talking about these controversies surrounding the sort of high levels of testosterone in female athletes. There's a theme here. These women are either black or brown, so they either have, they've got those natural higher levels of testosterone depending on their ethnic background as well. So Duti Chand is an Indian sprinter who was also challenged by regulations on her hyperandrogenism. Hyperandrogenism. What a mouthful. But she actually won a landmark case in the court of arbitration for her sport as well. So she actually managed to fight and won that as well. But there were definitely some questions about her as well. Like people were claiming that she was a man as well. And again, what is it about these females? Is it that they don't fit the general stereotype of what we look at as being as a female, or biologically born female? They have female body parts, but they just have elevated testosterone. Many women, all of us women have testosterone, right? But some of us may have higher testosterone. And we're going to come into that again in a moment. And then we had Annette Negesa, a Ugandan middle distance runner who was actually forced again to undergo surgery to reduce her testosterone levels. And unfortunately, as a result, has suffered some severe health issues, which is really, really sad. And look, coming back to Caster Semenya, she didn't want to do it. She said, I'm not doing it. Like, you either take me as I am or not at all. And it's just a shame because, I mean, we all know as well about the Williams sisters, Serena Williams, when she came onto the scene as well. Again, tennis had never seen anyone of Serena's ethnic background, African American, again, with that physical frame. They had never seen a strong female in that position. And so, well, they've got to be a man, right? And again, what is this? Are these ideals playing up to what we see as European standards for what it is to be female or feminine or anything like that? And yeah, again, some women do build muscle easier, and it's just a shame that that's happening. So again, these are challenges that are faced by women from ethnic backgrounds, ethnic minority backgrounds. So it could again be financial struggles, limited access to funding and sponsorship, the lack of representation. I know that when I was growing up, I'd never really seen many women of color in the sport. And I always found myself within the Olympics always looking up to the Black British athletes, because we didn't have any Asian athletes really out there representing or being like great role models within sports. And we know that that comes with its own, cultural barriers as well. So again, those additional societal and cultural expectations of what we are and what we should do. Yeah, is sport a part of that? Again, with that lack of representation, fewer opportunities to actually be picked as well for elite teams. So although you may have the talent, there may be coaches, for example, that may believe, because of cultural expectations or barriers, they may automatically assume that although you're talented, would there be any point in you pursuing this career? Should they even speak to your parents about being talented? Because again, of these expectations and stuff, or false stereotypes basically. And the impact of these, unfortunately, again, despite these challenges, many women have succeeded. And when we see that now, we see so many more women from various different backgrounds in the Olympics. Again, whatever country they are in, again, if it's a country that is mainly a white country, there are women that were born there of different ethnic backgrounds that are now representing their countries. And we've seen it in you know, the UK, and we've seen it in France, for example. And so, yeah, these, you know, these women are becoming role models for our younger generations, and they're going to help encourage these younger generations to pursue their dreams. Okay. So coming back to what we talked about with some of the athletes just there, it's really important to, again, address the high androgens and, believe it or not, PCOS. Okay. High androgens are common in some ethnic groups. And again, this leads to a natural physical advantage. Again, whose ideals are we playing to when we think about what women's like base level standard should be? And then when we are stronger and are better and are like more muscly and we're prone to higher testosterone and we are able to you know succeed in other natural physical ways, that, you know, again, it's seen as cheating. So we do know that, again, with polycystic ovary syndrome, it's very multifactorial. It affects your hormone levels and, again, your physical capabilities. It's not always to say that you have the superpower, but again, it can affect you in various different ways. So, you know, again, higher testosterone advantages, or, you know, maybe even that sort of insulin resistance and you know, predisposed to having sort of, you know, horrible diseases like type 2 diabetes, for example. And yeah, again, what do we need? We need support and understanding. We need this within the sport. We need this for each other as well. And coaches need to understand this as well. We need to understand that fair, you know, that we all need fair treatment and awareness. So I thought it would be really important for us to, for me to just show you and highlight again this diagnostic criteria for PCOS based on this Rotterdam criteria. Okay. So PCOS is this little bit in the middle. Now, to have the syndrome, you have to have 2 out of the 3 things. And again, depending on those, which of those 2 of those 3 things it is, it will obviously translate or higher, highlight a different type of the PCOS. So I guess classically what we might see with some of the ladies, again, with the higher testosterone, hang on a second, we skip forward. With the higher testosterone, this hyperandrogenism, I don't know. Anyway, this word here, this word, fancy word here, hyperandrogenism. With this, we're going to have elevated androgens. So that's things like the PCOS and this sort of, you know, this more dominant, this masculine anabolic profile as well. Again, with this, you've got this polycystic ovaries. Not everyone has polycystic ovaries that has PCOS syndrome, but just the kind of hyperandrogenism, yep, that one at the top. But if you have that with polycystic ovaries, you get this ovulatory PCOS. And with this is like a rare type, but again, it can be more of that sort of lean body. So that's sort of more athletic looking, and where some people might point towards having more muscle means more masculinity, unfortunately. But you know, that's what they all have, that masculine anabolic profile. And then you've got the polycystic ovaries again with the oligoanovulation. So this type of PCOS is more, again, it's masculine in a different way. Sometimes you may have, you know, more hair. That's what that means, more hair. Again, different types of masculine. Maybe there's a deepening in your voice, not necessarily to do with the muscle leanness and that type of PCOS, because obviously PCOS, most people, you'll see it, and there's obviously a harsher reality in terms of actually losing body fat. Okay, so I've been talking very much about the lean PCOS, but as we're coming down through this graph, I'm now talking about the more body fat dominant PCOS that we see. Okay, and then with this, with the polycystic ovaries and sort of, you know, that dominance of that hair and stuff like that, this oligoanovulation basically means like menstrual cycle disturbances, missed periods, perhaps maybe no periods at all. And then again, you've got this sort of classic PCOS here, where you've got those elevated testosterone levels, and then unfortunately you get the hair and more masculinity as well. And again, this side could also be, you know, again, related to that higher body fat percentage and a harsher reality when it comes to losing weight as well. That's what this side would be. And I would say that classic PCOS, again, you don't have to have the polycystic ovaries. You can still have that. And I've done a training on this already a while back about an introduction to PCOS itself as well. There are a lot of women that are undiagnosed PCOS, and I have often questioned, I wonder, is that something that we inherently, like a lot of us have as Asian women? Like, I don't know. I mean, do I have it? I really don't know. And so, yeah, it's just one of those things. If you feel like it's really affecting you, especially when it comes to like the fertility side of things, again, if, you know, there's difficulties with the weight loss or like fat loss, etc., then it's worth looking into seeing if you can get tested. Anyway, okay. And moving away from that, what you will have noticed is that although all these wonderful, amazing female athletes have the talent, they have the physical capability, they'll have the knowledge of their sport as well. But what you will also find in common is that they will all have a coach. So having a coach is massively important. And that's one thing that I really wanted to touch on here. Coaches can help provide that sort of subjectiveness about what's going on with you and your journey as well. We're going to provide that guidance, give you that strategy, that motivation. Again, with the case of these athletes, they help them develop and refine their skills. They offer that emotional support and that mentorship. These women would not be who they are, and they wouldn't be on the platform that they have without having amazing coaches. And I think even with Simone Biles, she's often quoted as saying that, like, basically she hasn't got where she's got, you know, without the fact that she has had a coach that has really helped her, again, with some of these like amazing moves that she does on floor and stuff, without someone helping to push her and maximize her potential. And we all know what that's like on a, you know, our personal fitness level as well. So again, coaches can help us with our fitness, nutrition, our lifestyle goals. We can provide that personalized plan, help you with that accountability, which I feel like, speaking to so many of you women, it's the biggest barrier to creating change and actually finding success. You can have all the tools, all the knowledge, all the ability, all the talent, but it's the application and the accountability that is going to help you become successful in this journey. Again, this is going to help you, and it's a massively essential for achieving that fat loss, getting that toned body that you absolutely you want, you deserve, and you desire, and just to help with your overall lifestyle and your well-being. Again, we know that you will have different challenges than, you know, again, these athletes have. And again, they live their life training, and like, you can't take away from that. And you ladies, you live your life working, being mothers, being family supporters, being very career driven, having, you know, having so much going on in your lives and so many other different goals as well. So it's very difficult balancing career, family, and fitness. So I totally get that. But you need to ideally prioritize time management, and something as simple as like Google Calendar. I'm sure that you use it in your working life as well, but time blocking is massively important. Setting out on a Sunday night and going, right, these are the days that I'm going to train, and you don't have to train every day like an Olympic athlete, unless you want to become an Olympic athlete. But 3 to 4 times a week of training is brilliant. And you again, I say this, you can schedule this in like a Tuesday, maybe even do like a Tuesday, Thursday, and a Saturday, or like a Monday, Wednesday, and a Friday, but getting that in the diary. So whether that's first thing in the morning, or on your lunch break, or like you have your gym kit ready to go as soon as you finish work as well. But it's really important to prioritize that time management and plan. Again, we all need that education as well, education when it comes to our nutrition and in terms of how to train as well. That's massively going to help you. This is something that me as a coach, this is what I help provide you and help bring to the table. Set realistic goals. You may have been on this journey with me 1 month or 3 months, but things take time. And if you think about your life before being on a program, being engaged with your fitness as well, you think about life before then, having certain lifestyle ways, eating a certain way as well. You've spent your whole life doing things one way, and now we're trying to change your mindset, change your lifestyle. It's going to take time. It's not something that like a switch, you flick it and it changes. So have patience as well as creating those realistic or setting those realistic goals, and lean into our Goal Boss community. We're all there. We've got the WhatsApp group. Share your struggles, share your wins, share your journey. We're here to all inspire each other. So when we think about taking it back to some of these athletes, we can, apply resilience in what we do. We can learn from the struggles of these athletes, and actually, again, think about if they can do it, like what can we do at our level? What can we do? How can we try and stay, these setbacks that they get, that perseverance as well, the importance of staying motivated despite these challenges. And again, strategies. So setting small, achievable goals, maintaining that positive mindset, and again, seeking support when it's needed. So just going to leave you with, with this podcast episode that we've done, but just to sum things up, embrace that mindset to achieve your personal and professional goals, and stay inspired by these athletes' stories. If you found this helpful, or you want to learn a little bit more about the Girl Boss method because you've just stumbled across this episode, then please feel free to message me at richubra on Instagram. And ladies inside the program, let's share some amazing athlete stories or Olympic stories that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. We'll see you here next time.